All right, it looks like I am live, and we know what that means. What's up, YouTube? How is everybody doing? Wow, that was a long time I was sitting there just staring at the camera without me realizing it was actually happening. But look, we're here. Gentlemen, we're here. Let me know. Everybody give me a little shout in the chat. Make sure I can see and you can hear everything okay. I just want to make sure that's all doing good. It's been a minute. It's been 2 weeks since I've done this, so I'm trying to get myself together. Turn down the sound map. Okay, let me do that. And we got an echo that says echo, holy echo. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Did that change anything? Let me see where this is pulling sound from. Audio input. Still echoing. We'll bring this back up. Can you hear me now? Very low now. Still no audio. Real low, he says. No volume. All right, we'll go here. Still nothing? No sound. I tell you what, I struggle with this. I struggle with this. Maybe we'll well, good to go. Good to go. All right, we got a good to go. All right. I am talking, so you may not be able to tell, but I am talking. My delay is too long. It's good. All good. You're good. Perfect. It's perfect. Great. This chart is not a bad choice. This is leftover remnants from. Thank you, Kyle. Got your text. This is leftover remnants from Cinco de Mayo. Everybody, I hope you have a wonderful Cinco de Mayo. And all that fun stuff. So it is the live show. Thank you for sticking with me there as we got through the technical difficulties. Now that we've made it through that and it's 7 minutes in, it's the Cinco de Mayo live show. We're gonna jump in here for the roll call. So I'm gonna hop on over here, man. There's already tons of love and help and support coming from in here. I saw you, Cat Bird Feeder. How's everything going down there in the Mississippi? We got Ray the Green Doc here. We got J Pink sliding on in with that one cupcake, please. If you haven't, you should, because you're missing out. And that's a hop on over to thatonecupcakeplace.com and place an order. Get that bad boy overnighted to you. Get you some of that ooey gooey good stuff that he's flying out all over the place. Everybody go check out, show some love over there. You know what I'm saying? We got Steve Williams with the Ice Bank jokes. I see you over there. Social Port, good to see your name in here again. Been a hot minute, sir. Welcome back. Kyle Ben, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Santiago Rivas, how are you, good sir? Glad you're here. Matt Anderson, let's do it. Let's get it done. We're going to do it. The Long Fix, how are you, good sir? Chris, that's French. How is everybody doing? Wow, that was a long time. That's what it is. Sitting there just staring at the camera. Madman. Without me realizing. We got Brian Jones in the airport security. Says, do not say the word bomb. Gentlemen, we're here.
We're not going to say that. Thomas Lachlan got down his first my goodness.
See
you.
You can hear everything.
No two button down rule there in SCC. No, we take it down as low as we want to there, Mr. OS. Turf fan. What's going on? Good sir. Glad you're here. Does POA annua really die off in the summer? Annua means annual, meaning it has one life cycle, meaning that when it gets out of season, it dies. So yes, it actually dies. POA trivialis is perennial, meaning it goes dormant. Perennial means it goes dormant. Annua means it actually dies. George EPC, how are you, good sir? RVA Lawn Love, what is going on? Paul Rhodes, Real Low Dad, what's up? American Troy, Schaefer Lawn Care and Property Maintenance, Larry George, Telly Coleman, way over in Nash Vegas, doing it right. Gradient Landscaping, what is going on, my brother? Glad to see you here. Steak and Shake. All right, I'm gonna hop on down here to now that we got through all the technical difficulties. Your open is voiced over your live voice. Is echo? Are you kidding me? Double audio? What is going on? College course for ITs. I don't know. Voice is good now. I have no idea what is going on. This is one of the sillier things I think I've ever had to deal with. We're going to completely kill that and see what this does. I don't know. Lushy, I see you over there. I'm glad. All right. Now, good. Stop messing with that. I didn't touch anything. I was over here reading off saying hey to everybody, and then it just stopped. I don't know what the deal is. I have no idea. So, all right, we're going to move into that portion of the show. I'm going to tell everybody right now how we like to get things done here, and we do things as an open format. And what I mean by open format is you ask questions, I provide answers. I do the best that I can. It's like you're watching your own live stream. That's funny. Actually, I probably got that going in the background somewhere, but I got my volume down so I can't hear it. So typically, Magnum PI never did this. That is funny. It got flagged for review. I'm trying to approve it. Everything's acting a little silly here on the computer tonight. I don't know what is going on. It's driving me bananas. I'm telling you right now. All right, so again, like I said, this is an open format. What I mean by that is if you ask questions, I will attempt to provide answers. My background is turf grass management, so I will typically stay in the realm of turf grass type questions. If you want to know a little bit about ornamentals, plants, herbaceous plants, things like that, I feel comfortable to an extent getting into there. But like I said, my preference is turf grass management. And the way I typically do this, sounds good now. Okay, I'm having a panic attack about the sound now. And the way I typically do this is I answer the questions as they come into the chat. So I'm going to ask everybody, if you have questions about your lawn, please ask away in the stream. And real quick, I want to say to everybody, this is how I'm going to start this. Before we even get into answering these questions, this is what I'm going to talk about. Huge thank you to everybody in the community for doing what you did with the CarbonX release. What we sold in 24 hours, 72 hours was above and beyond what anybody ever expected. And I have to say, I'm super excited for that many people to get to put it down. I'm that excited to see all the pictures that are going to be coming in from it. The pros have been using it for a while. We're getting lots of positive feedback from there. And, you know, we use this data to continue to improve things. I will say that me as a person, and with me having my name on this product, I will never be satisfied. It will always grow. It will always evolve. There's always more in the works. There's more on the R&D side that we're continuing to put into this. But I just can't thank you enough, all of you, for all the love and support that you showed. I mean, it blew everybody's mind. And you know, it was one of the things that prompted us. Last week couldn't do the show because, you know, we were in Kentucky getting work done because we never prepared. We're not prepared for that type of response. And it was incredibly overwhelming in the absolute most positive way ever. So huge thank you to each and every one of you for that. I mean, it was just mind-blowing, mind-boggling, and we're excited. And I hope y'all are excited to get to use the product too. So that's I'm gonna try and leave the CarbonX out of this if need be, but you know, we'll if it comes up, we will. What is this lawn forum topic here? We got 219 over here going ham, cutting some grass on his lawn forum journal. Hey, usually it'll flag it 219 if you post a link in the chat, so I will do that for you. Brent Sherrod is in the house. I hadn't seen Brent since Florida, man. How are you, good sir? I received my white chubby beta bag of CX this week. Ready to throw her down. That's funny. Gixer, how are you, good sir? I'm glad you're here. Can CarbonX be applied in flower beds? Yes. CX on ornamentals? Yes. Apparates, if yes. Typically, I would recommend something like a handful per plant, depending on its size. We'll say it's a 3 to 5 gallon size plant, handful per plant as a general rule of thumb. Let's see, best thing for buttonweed and doveweed, just surge? No, absolutely. In fact, I would steer you to stay away from surge. If you're in warm season grass, your best bet is going to be Celsius, probably combined with metsulfuron methyl, or Celsius combined with something like Blindside, or Celsius, metsulfuron methyl, and sulfentrazone. That's for the doveweed portion. For buttonweed, I would stick with something that contains fluroxapyr. Now, know this. It's going to hurt your Bermuda grass. It just will. There's no way around it. The other thing you could do if you didn't want to do that is you could do like Celsius and metsulfuron will work on buttonweed. Celsius and 3-way will work on buttonweed. Monument and 3-way will also work on buttonweed. So there's quite a wide range of products you can use there. Doveweed and cool season grass for control measures, I got nothing. I honestly don't know anything. I think you're kind of SOL on that one. Let's see, put it down here. Is 3 pounds per 1,000 is a good starting point. That is it. You panic about audio like I panic about burn. That's right. I need help, please. Best way to fill in area under a tree. Bermuda, of course, not growing. Your best bet is to cut the tree down because I assume you're trying to get Bermuda to grow underneath the tree. You're not going to. I may have misunderstood your question there, but you're saying under a tree, Bermuda, of course, not growing. Yeah, because of the light issue. To fill in that area, I mean, yeah, you're kind of out of luck. You could probably try something like your fescue or something like that, but if you're in a Bermuda environment, then you probably want Bermuda grass. You're just not going to get it to grow under a tree. You could try something like Tifgrand, which has a little higher rating on the shade tolerance ability there, but in reality, I'd say, yeah, it's either grass or the tree, something like that. All right, let's see. Thanks for getting a hair up and making this product. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Chris. Why? How early can I pour the Milo to my baby Bermuda grass, or can I put some CarbonX? You could do either. If you're going to do CarbonX, I would stick to that 3 pounds per 1,000. If you're going to do Milo, I'd probably go a lot higher than that. But since it's new seed, I don't know what your phos levels are like. If you need the additional phos, Milo may be the better place to start there. It depends on what your soil test shows. Matt, what are your thoughts on a monoculture for cool season grass? One type of grass versus a blend. Yeah, I mean, that's totally doable. A lot of people do that, especially with Kentucky bluegrass. With fescues, typically it's not recommended because what they'll do is they'll have, one variety that's endophyte enhanced, and then they'll have another variety that's more resistant on brown patch, and then they'll have another variety that's more resistant on gray leaf spot. And depending on which one you have will determine, I guess, whatever season you're in will determine which one tends to shine and maintain a turf quality rating. So, yeah, in my opinion, for something like fescue, a bunch type grass, I would stick to a blend. Now, it could be all fescue, but, choose 3 different cultivars of fescue, or 4 different cultivars of fescue. If you're doing something like Kentucky bluegrass, you can do that, but just prepare for the weaknesses of that particular cultivar of Kentucky bluegrass. So there you go. Have some rain coming in the next few days. Will it be okay for CarbonX to sit on the lawn before the rain comes? Yep, it'll be all right. Just watched a Ryan Nor vid about patching dead spots with seed. He mentioned that he was worried about possible overcrowding if new grass growing. Is that a thing? Yes, James Moore, that is a very, very big thing. And when it comes to overcrowding, I'll tell you exactly what happens. Pythium blight is what happens. And it is not a good... Pythium blight is not good. And typically what happens is you form such a dense, thick mat. Plants will be stealing from other plants, and before the end of it and before the chance really has to establish a root system to begin to get hot, and then it's too stuffing, there's no airflow, and then you lead to conditions like Pythium blight after a good rain. And so yes, overcrowding is definitely a thing. And I prefer to get away with putting down the minimum amount of seed possible and letting it fill in as those plants expand. Wow, finally home in time to... Hey, what's up, 3 lines only? We got another Hawaii guy here. Look at that, Ray. You see that? 3 lines only, another Hawaii guy. Hey, bro, can you do a public service announcement? Any thoughts on spreaders? Others may be purchasing high-dollar spreaders like I did for the CarbonX launch. Thanks again, bro. Yeah, okay, so this is exactly what happened. Trent said, give a PSA. I will say this. I've never had luck with spiker spreaders. The single hole and the coffee grind type mechanism there to spread, I personally have never had good luck with them. I love the Lesco with the Permagreen breakthrough agitator attachment. In my opinion, that is the best. If you were on a golf course and you needed really ultimate high super control, maybe go with something like an Anderson spreader that has that same setup, but that's designed to run prills that are going to be less than 160 SGN and smaller. If you're going to be running normal fertilizer or fairway grade fertilizer, then you'll want something that has a larger opening or orifice, and typically that's what Lesco is going to give you in their with their spreaders. All right, let's see here. Where do we go? Okay, I noticed some concern regarding the chicken manure in the fert and potential nutrient burn. Can you talk a bit about that and ease any concerns? I'm guessing it's not an issue. I don't understand what your question is, Captain Hiltz. Chicken manure is not known to burn. It's an organic fertilizer like Milorganite is. It's just instead of a biosolid, it's a chicken litter. In fact, biosolids have a higher nitrogen content than chicken manure, so you would burn something with Milorganite faster than you would with something with chicken manure. However, that is bound up in a homogenized prill that has also, biochar, ammonium sulfate, and potash, and so yeah, there is a mineral content. The rate at which you're going to burn is going to vary based on temperature, but as long as you're sticking in that 3 to 4 pounds per 1,000 application rate, then you're not going to burn anything. You'll be fine. Let's see. Just got my CarbonX. Hey! Threw down 2,4-D on my Tifway 419 and got some stress spots. How can I correct? Just be patient. Water it and it'll grow out. How early can I pour the Milo to my baby Bermuda grass? I think we talked about that. What do you think of homemade biochar in a retort oven? I could charge it to before app. Sure, if you've got a way to do it, absolutely. I think it's great. I just bought the Lesco 50-pounder. Tired of the Scott's plastic spreaders that break early. That's what I'm talking about. Chainsaw is best for Bermuda under a tree. 100. Railsar herbicide. When will it hit the turf market? No time Soon, probably Chip Dixon. Well, I guess it's been about 2 years now that it's been in research, so hopefully within the next 2 years it will. However, I will say I watched a lot of the experimental trials with it at the University of Tennessee, and I was not super impressed with it. So, for what it's worth. What would be the best way to kill grass around gardenias and crepe myrtles without damaging plants? Grasses, Bermuda, tall fescue, POA. I would use glyphosate with a cone. You can get a cone attachment that goes over it if you're really concerned about blowback. But I would have no issue just spraying around that at all with the proper nozzle. Figweed. Anyone know this weed? Figweed. Not particularly familiar with it, but I am sure figweed. I know pigweed. Pigweed's really popular. Amaranth, but I do not know figweed. But pigweed is a rough one. It's real popular in agriculture. Mainly, it's a corn crop issue. Atrazine can be used to prevent it, or if you're going to go after it post-emergently, any good triclopyr, fluroxypyr containing herbicide should take it out. Celsius plus Revolver, can you do a blanket app out of a Permagreen? Yes, you can. Let's see. Spot sprayed some broadleaves with 2,4-D and Bermuda, got stressed out. Any remedies? No, time and water and mow it out. It'll be fine. Got a pine tree stealing water from my lawn. Anything I can do short of cutting it down? No, Terry. Unfortunately, no, sir. That is it. Prodiamine this year. Good choice. I notice I have lots of POA trib. I have Kentucky and fine fescue. Would Quali-Pro MSM turf herbicide take care of it? No. POA trivialis is not controlled by metsulfuron methyl. And if it's in Kentucky bluegrass and fine fescue, you have no options to take care of it. So you could probably use Zonerate, and I did notice POA trivialis is on the Acclaim label, but in efficacy trials it showed it was highly ineffective. So hope that helps. I have a blank slate backyard. Expect an 8x8 patch of zoysia I had left over from front yard reno. How can I ensure I get all rhizomes in dirt before I put down Celebration Bermuda? Spray and till? Yes, and start spraying early. So make your application, wait, and scalp it down as low as you can, so that way at the first sign of emergence, you can make your next application. Also, go after it with more than one active ingredient. So, use something like tenacity and glyphosate on your zoysia, or Pilex and glyphosate on your zoysia. That would be probably a better way to attack it. All right, let's see. Whoa, we hopped down here. Okay, caught back up. Chris, I picked up a Spiker Ergo Pro 50 pound. I've been less than pleased. Yeah, be careful with the spikers. Like I said, I don't like them. I don't like that stuff. It doesn't really work that well for me. Check out my page from last fall if you want to see the damage from Pythium blight. Yeah, I have a video where I talk specifically about Pythium and what I had to do to get it to come back. And I will say, Subdue Max does work. It does come back with Subdue Max. Dead spot in middle of front lawn, Bermuda. Last year I spilled Portland mortar in this spot doing some masonry work. Could dead spot be linked to the mortar spill? Yes, it could. Best fix, probably dig it out, replace the soil, and have something grow back on it. And let it fill back in with it Bermuda grass. But yeah, it definitely has to do with that Portland mortar being on it. It's probably got lots of calcium oxide or something in it that's causing the turf from growing back. So yeah, dig out that spot, replace the soil, and it should grow back in it. In Minnesota, would I currently have any POA annua, or does it die in the winter? No, it does. POA annua works backwards. So POA annua is alive during the winter and it dies during the summer. So yes, you could definitely have it right now. Red thread and Kentucky bluegrass perennial rye every year in western Pennsylvania, and it started again this year already. Any preventative care I could do? Sure, azoxystrobin would work well. Does T-Nex, propiconazole, and azoxy cause any adverse effect on turf-type tall fescue when used together? Transition zone. No, not at all. I have used that many times. However, you may want to dial back your propiconazole rate because that's growth regulator in combination with T-Nex growth regulator, and you may get some bronzing from an overregulation. So you may want to run like a half rate of propiconazole with your rate of azoxy and your T-Nex. And I will say this, Matt Kosinski, I do not like running T-Nex on turf-type tall fescue. I've never had good success with it. And in my opinion, where I'm at right now in the transition zone is way too late to be applying T-Nex to tall fescue. That's just my opinion. You're more than welcome to try it out and report back how it works for you. It may work marvelously. It just didn't for me ever. I'm in the central Kentucky area looking for a shady grass in an area that is prone to standing water during heavy rains. I'm also looking at doing a massive drainage upgrade. Yeah, there you go. Asking for a grass that's going to tolerate shade and is prone to standing water during heavy rains. I mean, you're asking a lot of the genetics of the plant there, and it's going to be hard to say, oh, yeah, this is definitely what you need to do. It's going to vary year by year. It's going to have to do with ambient air temperature, how much airflow access does the entirety of the yard have. So there's not going to be one thing I can recommend. Your best bet is to probably do like a fine fescue or something, or even just a tall fescue. Stay away from shade mixes and all that. Really, that's just marketing crap. But tall fescue, fine fescue, put it down, see what it does. Matt, I didn't know CarbonX worked on beards. What up? That's what I'm saying, Zax. I just bought an 80-pound spiker. Hate it. Sticking with Andersons. There we go. Turf Nerd, the man himself, said he's getting rid of it. Going back to his Andersons. David Borden is in here. I missed it. Where's David? Where's David? I did not see him. But I see old Canadian Chris in here shouting him out. David, I will find you over here in the chat. You just got recognized as the favorite industrial engineer. Just bought a home. Yard severely neglected. First time setting up a new yard. Soil pH was a bit low, so applied lime. Dethatched and raked. Shade got hard fescue. Sun got tall fescue. Any tips? No, I mean that sounds about right. Don't forget to apply your nitrogen. Although dealing with fescue, you may want to limit your overall rate you apply right now. So there you go. There goes OSU Turf Man coming in on the propiconazole talk. I'm waiting for seed to germinate currently in Washington, D.C. area. Oh, okay. You're waiting for it to... No, I mean just water. Garden Earth Guy, best formulation for Bermuda in warm season getting high traffic, a.k.a. sports fields. I'm thinking IBDU. IBDU would work. Methylene urea would work. Triazone urea would work if you feel like spraying it. I never had any issue just running straight ammonium sulfate on athletic fields, especially sand-based fields. I've run plenty of XCU. I've run plenty of PCSCU on them. So, yeah, I mean, I've just, you take your pick. It depends on how many applications you're going to be making through the course of the year. If you're only going to be on it 4 or 5 times, yeah, you may want to do a urea formaldehyde. If you're going to be on it every month, then don't waste your money. Just get a quick release fertilizer and throttle your rate to control your surge growth. Does CarbonX have a large prill size because it's designed mainly for commercial use, and will it be okay to store outside during the winter? Yes, you can store it outside. It can freeze. That won't be an issue. The large prill size is, yes, because it is mainly for commercial use, and it has to do with keeping costs at a medium level. The smaller you take a prill, the less material gets accepted through the manufacturing process, and so your throughputs are reduced. Therefore, the cost to actually manufacture the material goes up. So, for instance, that's why if you're buying like a greens grade bag of fertilizer from the store, say you go to a turf supplier and you go get a bag of Contact G, which would be like a greens grade type material, ultra-fine material. You know, it may be $100 or $70 for a bag of that fertilizer because you're dealing with such small particle sizes. But unless you're dealing with super dense real cut grass, say sub half inch, at that 1/4 inch or lower range, then you're not going to see really any diminished return. But if you are, I'll even say half inch or lower, and it's real mode and has the ability to hold the fertilizer on the top, that's when you want to drop your prill size. So yeah, there we go. Whoa, we jumped down again. We jump down again. Look at all these questions coming in. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Matt, some lawn forum T-Zone transition zone members are successfully experimenting with bluegrass. Among pros, has there been an increased openness to using bluegrass in the hot and humid South? No, and I will tell you, a lot of that is because of the feedback that's coming out of the University of Tennessee. It's not positive. Sometimes it's working well. Other times it's working really, really, really poorly. And it's one of those things where if you can control the water, and you can control the fungicide program, then yeah, it's probably a great choice. But if you don't have control over those, pros may be switching to it, but they're going to continue to run into the same issues with it that University of Tennessee did, where some years it works out great in your favor, other years it comes back to bite your ass. So it's kind of how it goes. As a homeowner that's on their property every day instead of a professional that's going to be on it 7 times a year out of 365 days, that's a whole lot of variable that changes there, right? So what I can guarantee that's going to happen over 7 days in a year is really difficult for someone who's going to be there, say, 350 days out of the year, if that makes sense. Will composted cow manure throw on top of a core aerated dead lawn make a good seed bed? It has a bit of an ammonia cell and large chunks here and there. Does it need till? Yeah, Ben, I would not use that. After it comes up and is established, or if you wanted to till it into the soil prior to seeding, yeah, you can do that, but don't put that down and then seed directly on top of it. That needs to compost down until you can't smell it anymore. It's okay if it can have, a little bit of a manure smell, but that it needs to be rained on to flush it with any sodium buildup that may be there. There's an important part of the composting process that has to take place before it is, what I would consider seed safe. Otherwise, it's like trying to seed into a fertilizer. You can't use fertilizer as a seed bed. You have to use soil. Uncomposted cow manure or incorrectly composted cow manure or unripe composted cow manure can be way too hot for seed. What's up, John Falcon? Glad you're here. Yeah, no plaid shirt today. This is my Cinco de Mayo celebration shirt. I wore it last night for Cinco de Mayo, so I'm going to wear it again tonight for the actual date. Thanks, Matt. I hope I didn't overseed. I am currently waiting for my seed. I guess I'll have an idea about it this week. What a problem to have. Too much grass. That's what I'm talking about. Ammonium in IBDU is not good for what you're doing. There we go. Do not waste your time growing zoysia from seed. Just sod or plug. Zoysia seed has a very low germination rate. Yep. Matt, how's your first week or real low with the John Deere? It's great. I actually enjoy it. I enjoy mowing with it. I've just got to get a little extension on the handlebars there for my tall broken ass. Have high pH 7.5 in Iowa and high calcium 4388. Best way to handle this other than elemental sulfur. Okay, I'll give you 2 options. Elemental sulfur or make sure you switch your nitrogen source over to ammonium sulfate primarily. I wouldn't use any other nitrogen source other than that. Green Doc will tell you in here, citric acid, 1 pound per 1,000 square feet at a high volume application. Make sure that's watered in immediately. Harrells, can you put down a liquid imidacloprid up here in the Northeast using Dominion? How early can you put it down? I would do it no earlier than the end of July, maybe middle of July, somewhere in there at the absolute earliest. Any recommendation for spraying chelated iron out of my backpack sprayer? Tried to spray Armada and iron out of it yesterday. My 20-volt chafing pump sounded like it was about to explode. Yeah, iron is not going to be great out of a backpack sprayer altogether. You can do it, but you're going to have to run low rates of it. So if you want to run a higher rate of it, you're just going to have to spray it twice. And also, iron does not mix well with herbicides and pre-emergents in general. So you start putting that under pressure, and it's going to chew your pump up like you wouldn't believe. I would stay away from it, run them separately. My pH is a bit high at 7.9. My calcium and magnesium are off the charts. My sulfur is also high. What should I put down to correct pH? Cool season blend in the bold north. Okay, so just because your sulfur's high, that may be sulfate that is actually high, not elemental sulfur. You got to think when elemental sulfur breaks down in the soil, it's going to turn into an acid that will react with the calcium and magnesium carbonates that are high in the soil. So you can use elemental sulfur, but you can also use citric acid at 1 pound per 1,000 square feet in a high volume application and water heavily after you apply. You may have to do that twice a year. I will be using an azoxy mix for my fungicide program May through August. What do you recommend for rates each month? Half, 3/4, full, etc. Depending on your percent active ingredient, so if you have 2 pounds of active ingredient of the azoxy, I would recommend running 16 ounces per acre of it. We'll say you're using the 41% propiconazole. Most people use 14.3. I'll use 41 because that's what I used. I would run that at 16 ounces to the acre. So that would effectively be half and half. What's best to use to kill grubs but not earthworms? You're limited to... goodness gracious, what is it called? Acelepryn. Acelepryn is what you can apply. Dennis Page. What's up, Shane Brady? Glad to see you, sir. How do you get rid of dandelions before they come up in spring? You can't really do it that way, but you can use a combination of Dimension and Defender. Those two herbicides together will have a preventative type effect on dandelions. You have to do it when it's cold outside, exceptionally cold. What's up, Tall Fescue Jumpany? My Wassenauer. Nothing for orchard grass in Bermuda, correct? Will PGR slow it down? Too big an area to paint with gly. Yeah, it might slow it down, but if you need to get rid of it, you could probably do something like Celsius and Revolver, or what is the other one that Ray's a big fan of? Syncor. Ray, does Syncor work on orchard grass? I'd say that would have a pretty good burn down effect from it. So you may want to try that, especially since Syncor isn't all that expensive. But yeah, there's nothing really selective that I know of that does well. Low mowing will take it out. So if you can drop your high to cut, that would help. Let's see here. Have you ever used on established turf or newly laid sod Radiate 3 IBA rooting hormone cytokine? Yes, I have used IBA rooting hormones, IDA hormones, cytokine hormones, Cytogro. Yes, I have used all of them, and they work. They work well. They work exceptionally well, especially at seed time too. In comparison with seaweed extract, Virginia Tech is one who did the study on this, and you can look it up. You can type into the search bar Virginia Tech biostimulant study, and you can see comparisons between cytokinin-based products and IBA rooting hormone products or auxin-boosted hormone products versus seaweed extract. And for whatever reason, seaweed extract tended to outperform those, assuming you had a quality seaweed source. You know what I'm talking about, OSU man. Hey bro, I need to do Matt. What's your hang on purely organic lawn food? I have no idea what that is. Any ideas? Okay, I will look at that up here in just a second. Eric Von Waddell. Hey bro, I need to do some serious level with my Bermuda lawn. Lots of scalping, even at 2 inches with a rotary. Any ideas of an attack plan, specific type of sand? Don't overcomplicate it, Trent. Just get sand. Go get some yellow masonry sand, some coarse sand, and just sweat your ass off. There's going to be nothing fun about it. Just get out there, get it done, and I know it's just know it's going to suck. I can't really think of anything else to tell you other than that. I wouldn't overcomplicate it with sand. Get the cheapest sand you can and do it. How do you feel about using Screaming Green in conjunction with CarbonX in New York? Chris, you can. I just don't see the purpose in it. It is a similar product, but different. So in CarbonX, you have biochar and chicken litter as your nitrogen release agent. In Screaming Green, you have biosolids and chicken litter, no biochar. So it's similar but different. And so doubling up on that, I don't think is going to give you any bigger effect than if you ran one or the other. So pick one and go with it. Running two is really just overdoing it for no real reason. Okay. Let's see. I got jumped around here for a second. Let me get caught back up. Trying to figure out the perfect time to put down a fungicide this season. Any particular weather patterns to look out for? Rain is the forecast for the next 5 days, but humidity is low. Adam, this is my general rule of thumb. I've done 100 videos on disease because that's the name of the game in the transition zone. And I'll tell you like this. Daytime temperatures are 85, nighttime temperatures 60 plus. That's it. That's what you're looking for. When you see that in the forecast, that means it's time to start applying. As a professional, I would go off weather history, and for 4 years in a row, I saw the development of brown patch on exactly May the 15th. So I would usually start applying the last week of April. OSU tournament includes Celebrant superior to imidacloprid. Yep, there you go. And it not only that it has lower instances of resistance. Imidacloprid is growing in resistance cases. Let's see here. If I use dolomitic lime to correct soil pH, can I also put down Solucal to full app now, also because the dolomitic won't work right away? Yep, you can do that, Eric Hughes. I have already applied the microgreen by Next product on my grass. What will happen if I apply CarbonX? It will turn extremely green. It'll look great, Wendy. Hey, Matt, is it possible to release the phosphate locked up in the soil for plant uptake? Man, that is not an easy question, Gene DeClos. So what you have to do is use the root system to mine it out. And it has to be through physical contact that it will actually have to mine it out. And there's a lot more complexity that takes place in there. So yes, it is possible, but you're not going to apply anything over the top of it that's going to magically change form of a calcium phosphate into a plant available phosphate. You're not going to turn it into monoammonium phosphate from calcium phosphate. So it's not going to work like that. But things like mycorrhizae and the interaction between the soil and the root, and giving it these extended feelers and its ability to utilize phosphate that may be tied up in the soil. So yeah, there's things that can do it, but as far as making like a predictive thing to be able to do and use it with, no, not really. How far will Kentucky bluegrass spread? That's $1 million question. I don't know. I would say pretty dang far if you let it go. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that, Mr. Fouché. Control for moss organically. That's a good question. I think you can you get mined ferrous sulfate? You may be able to get, I think you can get mined iron oxysulfate, which would be considered organic, and you can apply it that way. Probably high rates of vinegar and something like that, but I don't know. I would use carfentrazone and ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. That would work. It's not organic, but that's how I would do it. Do they make reel mower beard clippers? That's a good question. I think all beard clippers are pretty close to reel mowers. In your experience, are three-way soil meters, pH, light, moisture, generally pretty accurate for pH readings? No, not at all. Not even close. Any tips on keeping a lawn level after tilling it? I don't want it to get too bumpy. It's only about 2,500 square feet. Would raking with a landscape rake be enough? Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be able to maintain it. You can try rolling it after heavy rains and stuff like that. That'd probably be your best bet. Roll it after a heavy rain. But when you till it and you create that much disturbance, it's going to get lumpy just because of the way it settles. So typically, I do not recommend ever tilling a yard because it's going to be a nightmare. What's up, Chris? Wait, Mr. Gibby is here, y'all. Trent Burns, not necessary, sir. I told you, dude. I told you. Any granular app instead of that's for OSU Turf Man. Matt, starting to see some red thread popping up due to all the rain we're getting. Looks like we are going to get rain for the next couple of weeks. Thoughts? You can apply fungicide. That would help. But other than that, that's really about it. They'll tell you it's a nitrogen disease, but not really. When you're talking about disease, you have three different issues at hand. It's going to be water, light, and the actual spore or host itself. So you would have to eliminate one of those, and low nitrogen may help contribute to the problem. If you do get it, it may make the instance of it worse. But it's not going to fix it. So stay away from that. And if it's creating an issue that it doesn't seem to be growing out, then apply a fungicide. The absolute latest, you can apply prodiamine at full rate without affecting seed germination in October. I don't know, Tall Fescue Junkie. It's going to be highly dependent on the label, and I don't know it that well off the top of my head. Forgot about the time change. Ooh, snails everywhere after it rains. Crunch, crunch every time I walk down the driveway. How can I get rid of them? Man, I do not know, Tony Silvestri. I've never had that happen before. I do not know what to tell you. Chris said make a meal out of them. I want to go all out this fall. I want to aerate and oversee my turf type tall fescue September 1st and put down preem November 1st. Chance of success? Yeah, you can do it. I would not put down a preem on November 1st. I mean, if you're aerating with turf type tall fescue, give it a chance. I mean, wait till the next spring to apply your prodiamine. No reason in nubbing roots on 1 month old or 2 month old grass. It's still going to be in an infancy stage. Just don't apply fall pre. I have warm season lawn in South Carolina that's a mix of St. Augustine centipede and Georgia. Temps are in the low to mid 80s. Is it too late to do a blanket app of Avenue South? Oh, man, I don't know. The risk is there, buddy, and I'm not going to tell you whether that's the appropriate risk to take or not. I don't mess with centipede for that reason right there. I do not know the answer to that, buddy. Hi, any herbicide that suppresses Bermuda is safe for St. Augustine? Combination of Progress at the Fumicate and Atrazine. Marco Canchola. When you recommend combining two herbicides, do you use label rates for both products or less? It depends on the formulation, but typically, yes, I will use the label rates. Does CX provide more organic matter to the soil, or is a pure nutrient delivery system? It does provide organic matter to the soil, but it is also designed with being a nutrient delivery system. So it's the fact that it does supply organic matter is a side effect, not the initial design. I think POA germinates in September, so I don't know if that'll stop much. Yep, you're right. It won't. Best fungicide for Pythium blight in tall fescue transition zone, Central California. Paul Rhodes, I would use Subdue Max. I can draw on a blank on the active ingredient there. Active ingredient. What is that? Mefenoxam. That's it. Mefenoxam. And there is also a generic now that makes it a little bit more affordable, so you can use that. I'll throw it in the chat for you there, Mr. Paul Rhodes. I have easy access. Whoa, what happened? I have easy access to an aerator. Could I use once a month to help my very compacted clay soil? Yeah, you could do it once a month. You're not going to hurt anything doing it that way. Just don't let the soil dry out when you start doing that. You don't want it to dry out, and it can speed up the rate at which it does dry out. So just keep that in mind. But I personally would not do that because it's not really going to help your compacted clay soil all that much. But if you get a wild hair up your ass, buddy, run with it, dude. Run with it. Hey, I appreciate it, Santiago. I appreciate it. Best way to kill weeds in Bahia grass in Central Florida. Georgia grass as well for professionals. Phew. In Bahia grass, I don't know. Not a whole lot you can apply it. Low rates of 3-ways, something like that. I don't even know. I honestly do not. Georgia grass, yeah, that's fine. You can run pretty much any of the warm season herbicides. So Celsius, Revolver, Monument, Katana, your 3-ways, your 3-way esters, Trichopyr ester, they all work well in it. But in Bahia grass, I do not know. There's right, do not bother unless you're sanding. Yeah. Got a lot of chickweed along edges this year and boatloads of rain. Sucks. Yeah, spray it out, man. Barry, that's a super easy one to kill. Just spray it out, especially since it's on an edge. I got a little heavy-handed with my BioStem Pack, RGS and Humic 12 specifically. Should I purchase those separately to apply in the fall? What does that mean you got heavy-handed with it? I don't understand what that means. And I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking me. Can I use CarbonX and Next products on my cannabis plants? Stop my time. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. CarbonX, definitely not, because high nitrogen on something that's about to flower. That's not how you promote flower. So we grow hemp in Kentucky, where our plant is, and we have a very specific product line that we use for that. That is not CarbonX. It has a lot of the ingredients that we find in CarbonX, but it's a completely different product, and it's to promote the growth and development of flower, and you do not do that with nitrogen. How to kill bamboo in warm season grass? You can't. There's just no way around it. Kyle, you can chop it and fill the stalks with Roundup, but I mean, there's just no real long-term way to get rid of that. Look, here goes Ray. Ray said reel cut it. Yep. Yeah, if you can get it knocked down that low and then reel cut it, yeah, you'll probably keep it away. I was reading about this product called Levisol to release the phosphate, but if I understand correctly, it must be added with the fertilizer at the time of application. I think I know that product. They have a similar product to it, and that is the big claim to it, is that it unlocks it. How real is that? I don't know. I will tell you that a lot of those were talked about at the global fertilizer conference I went to down in New Orleans, and to mixed degrees of reviews, I will say that. And even though it is just a chelating agent, I think the direction they're going to be going with those products is more towards microbial mineralization of phosphate into an available form, more so than quote-unquote chemical one. Segway is the new jam on Pythium. There we go. I forgot about Segway. Yeah, Segway is really, really good. Screaming Green and CarbonX every other app? Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, if you really want to use Screaming Green, you can just use Screaming Green. If you want to use CarbonX, use CarbonX. You use it for when you need to use it. So they're both nitrogen as fertilizer. So when you need to apply nitrogen, pick one and run with it. Does atrazine turn frogs? No, man. I have no idea. What does that even mean? Jeez. You okay, buddy? I'm worried about you. Stop my time. Yeah, Lambert, I'm having to start early because of the Game of Thrones crap that's going on in here. I've scaled it to the dirt in March, but I will hit it again when I sand. I'm thinking it's going to take about 15 yards of sand. Want to help? No. I don't. Richard might. It's a warm season guy, but it sounded like Centipede is treated. It is. Let's see. I plan to overseed my backyard this September with turf-type tall fescue. Right now, it is full of Poa annua. After overseeding, how soon could I spray a pre-emergent to kill the Poa annua and not hurt my turf-type tall fescue? See, here's the thing. You may have Poa annua in it right now, but get that fescue as thick as possible, because you're not going to be able to spray a pre-emergent after overseeding and kill Poa annua. The fact that you're spraying it after, if you're spraying it to kill Poa, that means you're spraying it post-emergently. So if you can get it up and it's been up for about a week or two, then you can if it's been up for about a month or two, then you can make applications of ethifumicate, which will work post-emergently. You can do that. So probably 4 to 8 weeks after emergence, you can use ethifumicate. But don't go out there and try and put down dimension or barricade and think that's going to have an effect on killing Poa. It's not. Is there a generic for Speed Zone? Yes. Go get a bottle of 3-way, a bottle of triplet, and add 2 ounces per acre of carfentrazone. That is called generic Speed Zone. And that's not exactly the same. If you want to do it extra fun, go get some 2,4-D ester and spike it with the carfentrazone. But that's neither here nor there. I sure need to try CarbonX. Hearing great reviews. Good to hear, Paul Rose. It's going to be fun. What's up, St. Louis? Oh, man, I can't wait for the before and after pics. It's going to be fun. Any plans to add any other synthetic N types to CarbonX? Say yes, actually. 2 of the ones we're looking at right now are methylene urea and XCU. So I've been working with Coke and Lebanon Turf on that. I will say this, that when we do that, we are probably going to be doing that as a greens grade prill. And when that's going to be available, I do not know. That I do not know. So just know that, yes, we are working on it, but there's a lot of R&D that has to go into that before we can roll it out. Bluegrass King, any plans to do a video on the CarbonX manufacturing plant tour? No, sir. Not for the short term being. GC out there. What's up, Jax? Jax the man in here. What's up, homie? How are you, Pete? Big shout out to Pete. Go Pete. For everything that went on with the launch of the CarbonX, man. Woo! My man, Jax. Oh, man. Let's see here. There is an expensive one. It's called Manuscript. Yeah, Manuscript's another one. When applying Grobex, how long should I water in after minutes? I don't know, but I would say you probably want to get down at least 1/4 of an inch of water. So however long it takes you to get down 1/4 of an inch. What would you recommend for nitrogen if you can't get Milo or CarbonX? Anything you want to apply. If you want to apply urea, you can apply urea. If you want to apply ammonium sulfate, you can apply ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is always my preference because you get 2 nutrients in one fertilizer source. You get sulfates and you get ammoniacal nitrogen. So in my opinion, that is the superior nitrogen source and why we use so much of it in CarbonX. Can I still aerate if I already applied top dressing already? Yes. But that's doing it backwards. I don't understand how that works. Hey, JB in the show. What's up, man? Yeah, big things are happening. That's right. We got all kinds of silly things that are. I mean, when I say this went from 0 to 100 real fast, and again, big shout out to Pete and Jax and the Lawn Care Nut, all those communities coming together like this, because I mean it forced us to look at everything and the types of plans we have now for scaling and growth. It's really just thrown gasoline on what we thought was somewhat of a contained fire. We're burning down sheds in my backyard. We're burning down the grass in my backyard. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it is. I mean, everything that's going to be happening right now is that it's going to be it's going to be just so wild over the next couple of months. Let's see. Spawn number 1 mention your white shirt. Only a redneck from Tennessee would wear a Hawaiian shirt on Cinco de Mayo. Doesn't make any sense. I'm currently trying to get hybrid Bermuda to fill in more thickly. I've hit with T-Nex shooting for 4 pounds per month of AMS. I've still got lots of weeds. When should I apply Celsius? Hurry up and get all your herbicides down and over with, especially the sulfonylureas that can stunt growth for an extended period of time. So get that down, spray it now, get it over with, and then grow in with your AMS. If you're applying 4 pounds per month, that's 0.8 pounds in per month. Yeah, you'll be good there. You'll be good to go. That's good. I'm glad, Pete. T Winnings, what's up, man? CarbonX on the ground. Yeah, get ready, man. It's gonna blast out. I hope. MSMA. Oh, buddy, Michael Weeks playing games over here. Michael, I hope that's a joke. No, do not do this. And I'm not gonna go down that wormhole. I'm not gonna go silly on it. But understand, MSMA was pulled off the market for a reason. If we continue to use it illegally and it's going to be taken away from us, and we'll never get it back. And then they'll take away other things from us because of our inability to regulate ourselves. So, Michael Weeks, stay away from MSMA. There are other things that can work equally as good on it. I killed off all the Dallas grass in my backyard without any MSMA. I did it with Monument, Celsius, and Revolver. Or Tribute Total was actually what I used. So I did Monument and then Tribute Total and killed it off. So no, MSMA is going to be the worst bet for your explosion of Dallas grass. Matt, quarter-inch water looks like how long? I don't know how long because it depends on your water pressure coming out of your water hose or the water pressure coming out of your head. So easy thing to do. Oh, look, J-Pink came in there. Empty tuna can. Yep, that's perfect. Get yourself a white sport coat and go full Sunny Crock. How do I get orchard grass out of fescue? You probably can't, Scott, unless you use something non-selective. However, I would probably try Fusilade or Fluazafop. Fusilade / Fluazafop / what is it? Over the top. Or, yeah, that's probably going to be your best bet other than Roundup. Dude, stop my time. Buddy, who hurt you? Who hurt you? I'm going to put you in timeout. Because you're in some serious pain right now. And we'll let you hide out in the corner and just wallow in it for a little bit. All right, buddy? Will propiconazole half rate and half rate azoxystrobin burn the lawn at a certain temperature point? Not that I'm aware of. Terry Finch, how soon after seeding Bermuda can I fert? Pretty close, but I will wait till it's up a little bit, you know. Look at Ray. Yeah, as soon as it germinates. Yeah, and I would also probably put down a little bit at the same time I do seed. What's a good way to fertilize palms quarterly? If I have magnesium deficiency, macro deficiency, what's an efficient way of doing that? Central Florida area, liquid, granular, either or. It comes down to preference. I'm not sure there's an efficiency issue there. If you can spray the tops of your palms, then yeah, you can do liquid. That would be somewhat efficient. Or you could do right there at the base, fertilization at the base, and it would be fine there too. So it really just comes down to preference, picking your magnesium source. Is it, magnesium sulfate or what magnesium source do you want to do? And then picking your poison on how you want to apply it. Just whatever's easiest for you. I'm dealing with a ton of quack grass in my backyard. Just mow lower? Yeah, or I would probably do applications of either Acclaim, Phenoxyprop, or Fluazafop, also known as Fusilade or Over the Top. Best approach in dealing with Poatriv, prayer. It's perennial. It's going to come back year after year. There's no real good choice for it. Bluegrass King. There's no good choice for it. Certainty was labeled for Poatriv control in bluegrass, but they removed it from the label because it kept killing bluegrass. So you got really no other option. Except maybe Zonerate. You could probably do Zonerate. If you can still find Velocity with the turf label, you could probably apply Velocity, which is Bisprac sodium, I think was the active ingredient. Can prodiamine be effective still even with this late in spring? I'm in Washington State. Could be. I don't know. I don't know what temperatures you are. I don't know what your soil temperatures are. It all depends on that. I would say but yes, it would still be effective, but it may not block everything on that initial run of initial germination. So, you could apply it now, and then anything that comes up, kill it the first time, and it should not come back as aggressively because you've got your pre-emergent down. But again, it all depends on what you've got going on and stuff too. So I don't know. Let's see. This is the Armor Tech threesome label. This is a 2,4-D. 2,4-D Mechaprop and dicamba. What is this? This is just a three-way, like any other thing you see out on the market. 3 lines only. I'll post this in here since you can't do that. 3 lines only. What's the worst weed known to man? Why is it quack grass? It depends on who you ask. Quack grass is horrendous. It grows so fast. It is bad. All right, everybody. It is 9:07. There are chunks of wood and stones. And Max Wolves, shoot me an email at mattm@carbonearth.co or thegrassfactor@gmail.com. I want to talk to you about that. So anyways, I am going to call this. No, I was not kidding about burning the shed down. All right. I'm going to roll now, but I'm going to have to get going. It is 9 o'clock. I got to put my kids to bed. I got to do all that fun stuff and be somewhat of a civilized adult for the remainder of the evening. Again, big shout out to all of y'all. Thank you so much for the support. It's just been just absolute chaos. I mean, look, hey, what's up? Hey, old friend. Hey, look, he uses chicken ditto. He knows what's going on. Glad to see you here, buddy, Mr. Good Looking. So again, big thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for the support. John Borden and I both, we're wigging out. We were freaking out. We don't know what to do. And so we're trying to be as reactive as we possibly can right now to make sure that we can deliver, a high quality product as quickly as possible. And that's, kind of the name of the game. So we've still got a lot of stuff we have to do on our end, but, just can't thank you enough. It's just overwhelming. It is so overwhelming, and we are super, super excited. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope everybody enjoys Game of Thrones. Tell me what happened. Give me all the spoilers because I'm not going to watch it, and let me know what happens. But anyway, everybody, we got some videos coming out this week, so super excited to be putting those out, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Love all you guys. Take care.